Bender drank a can of expired beer, and a sharp pain hit him at once. He desperately needed to use the toilet, but was afraid of missing Fry, who would be there any minute. So Bender traveled back 19 seconds and said to his past self,
"I'm you from 19 seconds in the future. Stay away from Fry when I go to the bathroom. Okay, boss?"
Suddenly, a green light flashed, and another Bender in a suit also traveled through time, claiming to be a future version of himself, who wanted to mark Fry's butt. 2 minutes later, Fry also traveled to that exact moment, because the Bender present was no longer the original one. This triggered the paradox white mode in the code, and the self-destruct sequence activated immediately.
Aw, crap, I hate auto-destruct sequence!
Just before the explosion countdown ended, Fry had a sudden idea and shoved Bender into a cryogenic pod, narrowly escaping disaster. At that moment, Bender, who had finished using the toilet, saw Fry walk into the elevator. By the time he chased downstairs, Fry was gone. To find Fry, Bender began searching door to door, a search that lasted a full 12 years. Then one day at the docks, Bender spotted Fry with a long beard. He followed Fry back to his apartment and then shot, blowing up the entire building. After killing Fry, Bender was no longer of any use, so the aliens lifted their control over him and erased his recent memories. Upon learning the truth, Bender was filled with guilt and held a funeral for Fry. Just as everyone was overcome with grief, Fry suddenly appeared. As it turned out, the Bender had not killed the real Fry. Fry had already gone downstairs long before Bender arrived. Afterwards, Bender left alone, wanting to eat a slice of hot pizza. Fry, meanwhile, traveled back an hour, watched himself push Bender into the cryogenic pod, only to accidentally get frozen himself again. 1,000 years later, the cryogenic pod opened, and a clone arrived in the future. The original Fry never left, remaining frozen the entire time. The clone used the code to travel back 1,000 years. Bender had only killed the clone. The real Fry had stayed inside the cryogenic pod all alone, perfectly avoiding all danger.